Imagine lying in the stillness of night. The world around you has gone quiet. No footsteps, no voices, no machines humming in the distance. And yet, beneath the silence, there is something more. A vibration so subtle you cannot hear it, so constant you cannot escape it. It is older than memory, deeper than language, and it has been echoing through the bones of the earth for millions of years. Scientists call it the Earth's hum, but to the imagination it is something else entirely, a whisper from below. Long before seismographs, before satellites, before modern science could even conceive of measuring the pulse of the planet, people already sensed it. Ancient shamans lying flat on the ground would close their eyes and claim to feel the earth breathing beneath them. To nomadic tribes, this was the sound of ancestors singing from beneath the soil. To Greek philosophers, it was Gaia, the living earth, murmuring lullabies to the creatures she cradled. The words we gave it changed with culture and time, but the essence remained. Deep down, the earth was alive, and it was speaking to us. When the first sensitive instruments were built in the early 20th century, they began to pick up faint oscillations that puzzled scientists. Even in the absence of earthquakes, storms, or volcanic eruptions, the ground itself was always moving, quivering at a rhythm of roughly 7 to 8 millihertz, far below the range of human hearing. It was as if the entire planet were a great bell rung not once, but endlessly, resonating with a note too low for us to hear, but too constant to ignore. The Earth, it turned out, was never silent. Close your eyes and picture it. Oceans endlessly pressing against their shores, waves collapsing in unison like the breath of some enormous creature. Each collision sends a subtle shudder through the crust, like a heartbeat traveling through veins of stone. The winds above us, too, beat against the atmosphere, setting the ground into motion as if the air itself were drumming on the surface of the world. And beneath all of this, deep in the mantle, convection currents swirl like vast rivers of rock, nudging the outer shell into a perpetual, slow-motion dance. These forces combine to create the hum, an invisible, inaudible chorus of the earth itself. Some scientists compare it to the ringing of a bell struck by countless hammers of water and air. Others prefer to imagine it as the Earth's heartbeat, steady and unyielding, a reminder that our planet is as alive as we are. Whatever metaphor we choose, the hum is a constant companion, a background song that plays whether we listen or not. But what does it mean for us, the inhabitants of this humming sphere? On one level, nothing at all. We go about our lives oblivious to the vibration beneath our feet. Yet on another, perhaps it means everything. Some researchers have suggested that our biology has, over millennia, tuned itself to these frequencies, that deep inside, our circadian rhythms, our sense of peace, our ability to surrender to sleep may be linked to this ancient lullaby. When we rest, when our thoughts slow down and our breathing deepens, perhaps we are aligning ourselves with the quiet rhythm of the world itself. There is something comforting in that thought, isn't there? To imagine that you are never truly alone, even in the loneliest night, that beneath the floor, beneath the streets, beneath the continents and oceans, a great steady presence is singing you to rest, that the silence you thought was empty is in truth full of a voice so vast it becomes indistinguishable from stillness. And yet whispers carry secrets. The hum of the earth is not just a lullaby, it is also a language, and scientists are still learning to interpret it. By studying these faint vibrations, researchers can peer into the otherwise unreachable depths of the planet. Every variation in the hum reveals something new about the structures below us. Mountains hidden in the mantle, molten rivers flowing near the core, even hints about the behavior of tectonic plates. The Earth, in essence, is telling us its story in frequencies too low for human ears, but clear to the instruments we've built. This revelation, that the ground beneath us is alive with sound, changes the way we see our place in the cosmos. For centuries, humans looked to the stars for meaning, straining to hear the music of the spheres. But all along, the music was beneath us, resonating through stone and fire, waiting for us to notice. So, the next time you lie in bed, staring into the dark, wondering why sleep will not come, remember this. You are resting not in silence, but in song. The hum of the earth is around you, within you, threading through your bones and blood. It has been there since the first humans gazed up at the night sky, since the first oceans beat against the first continents, since the molten core first began to cool and solidify. It will be there long after we are gone. The whispers from below are not meant to frighten us. They are meant to remind us of belonging. We are not strangers on a foreign rock. We are children of this humming sphere, shaped by its rhythms, lulled by its song. And as we drift towards sleep, surrendering to the dark, we are not falling into emptiness. We are sinking into the embrace of the earth itself. The story of our planet begins not with silence, but with sound. And if we dare to listen closely, we may just hear the voice of the world, ancient and eternal, whispering to us still. If the whispers from below are the Earth's invitation, then following them deeper is like stepping into a dreamscape. For centuries, our imaginations have painted the planet's interior as a chaotic inferno, vast chambers of fire, rivers of molten rock, and restless demons stirring beneath the crust. Stories and myths gave us images of subterranean hells and hidden kingdoms where chaos ruled and terror thrived. But science, as it so often does, has revealed a truth more astonishing than myth. Beneath the apparent turbulence lies not madness, but order, not chaos, but calm. To journey to the Earth's core is to leave behind everything familiar. The ground beneath us, so solid, so dependable, is but a fragile skin. This crust on which we build our homes, plant our crops, and fight our wars is thinner than the shell of an egg compared to the vastness below. Just beneath it lies the mantle, a colossal ocean of rock, though it moves not like liquid water but like honey creeping ever so slowly over eons. And still deeper lies the core, divided into two astonishing realms, a liquid outer sea of molten iron and nickel, and within it, a solid heart of metal glowing with unimaginable heat and pressure. It is easy to imagine this journey as terrifying, to see the mantle as a storm of fire, and the core as a place of violent fury. Yet the more we learn, the more we see something profoundly different. Beneath the surface chaos lies serenity, a steady rhythm of processes so ancient and balanced, they resemble not violence, but harmony. The mantle's slow currents, moving at the pace your fingernails grow, shape continents and mountains with patience beyond human comprehension. The outer core, though molten, churns in stately motions that generate the planet's magnetic field, a protective shield so stable it has endured for billions of years. Even the inner core, once thought to be chaotic and unstable, reveals itself as a calm and growing sphere of iron, a stable heart beating at the center of the world. Think of it this way: if the Earth's crust is a restless surface, the depths below are its lullaby. At every level, the deeper you go, the steadier the song becomes. Heat and pressure, rather than creating chaos, enforce order. Molecules arrange themselves in crystalline structures, atoms align in magnetic patterns, and the deepest layers form not a battlefield, but a sanctuary. To put this into perspective, imagine standing on the surface during an earthquake. The ground trembles, buildings sway, fear ripples through every person nearby. Yet that quake, terrifying as it feels, is merely the surface shiver of plates adjusting to the slow, unyielding currents of the mantle below. Down there, what seems catastrophic to us is just the quiet continuation of an eternal cycle. Rock rising, rock sinking, the crust renewing itself as it has since the dawn of time. In the dreamscape of the Earth's interior, what looks like violence at the surface is, in truth, only the faint echo of balance. Scientists have spent decades unraveling this layered symphony.
Through seismic waves, those invisible ripples generated by earthquakes, they have mapped the planet's interior as surely as a doctor uses ultrasound to map the inside of a body. The crust, thin and brittle, the mantle, vast and slow, the outer core, liquid and flowing, the inner core, solid and growing. This vision is not one of panic, but a profound reassurance. The Earth is not restless, but deeply, serenely alive. And it is in this calm that we find something remarkable, a mirror for our own lives. Just as the planet holds within it a rhythm that sustains oceans, weather, and magnetic shields, we too hold rhythms that guide our existence. Our hearts beat, our lungs expand and contract, our minds drift between waking and sleep. Beneath the surface anxieties of daily life, jobs, conflicts, uncertainties, there is for each of us a core of calm. The Earth teaches us that stability is not the absence of movement, but the presence of balance. Consider the temperatures and pressures at the core. They are extreme beyond imagination, thousands of degrees hotter than the surface of the sun, millions times the atmospheric pressure we know. Yet out of this crucible of impossibility emerges order. Iron and nickel crystallize into a solid sphere. The molten outer layers churn not randomly, but in majestic, predictable cycles. The deeper you go, the more stable things become. At the very heart of the world lies not chaos, but constancy. This realization changes everything. When we think of Earth, we no longer need to fear the depths as realms of destruction. Instead, we can imagine them as the foundation of peace, a dreamscape where time itself slows and balance reigns. The crust may shake, volcanoes may roar, storms may rage, but beneath it all, the Earth's interior remains a sanctuary of order, quietly sustaining life at the surface. It is almost poetic. The deeper we look, the calmer things are. The surface where humans live is full of noise and turmoil, but inside the world carries a song of stillness, a reminder that at the core of all things, serenity exists. Perhaps this is why myths so often imagine the Earth as a mother, a guardian, a goddess who nurtures life, because beneath all appearances, that is exactly what it is. So when we speak of the journey to the Earth's core, we are not only speaking of geology and physics, we are speaking of a metaphor for our own lives. To descend is to discover peace. To look within is to find calm. The Earth's dreamscape shows us that serenity is not the absence of energy, but the perfect harmony of forces too vast for us to see. In this light, the Earth's interior is not a nightmare of fire and chaos. It is a dreamscape of science, a revelation of harmony in the heart of the world. And if we listen closely enough, perhaps that harmony can become our own.
Beneath the crust, where we walk, eat, and dream, there lies a realm so vast it makes everything we know seem fragile and small. It is not the fiery core or the thin surface we call home, but the mantle, a layer so immense that it makes up nearly 2/3 of the Earth's mass. If the planet were a living being, the mantle would be its body, strong and enduring, carrying the weight of oceans, mountains, and life itself. And though we cannot touch it directly, it touches us every day, shaping our world with movements so slow they are almost invisible, yet so powerful they sculpt the face of the Earth. The mantle is often imagined as a stormy ocean of molten rock, turbulent and wild. But the truth is stranger and more beautiful. It is not liquid in the way water is liquid. Instead, it is rock that behaves like both solid and fluid, depending on time and scale. On a human time scale, the mantle is rigid and unyielding, impossible to bend or break without catastrophic force. But on geological timescales, millions of years, it flows with the grace of honey warmed in the sun, moving continents as though they were drifting leaves upon its surface. This is the gentle paradox of the mantle. It is both still and moving, both stable and alive. To us, it is the silent stage beneath our feet, but to the Earth, it is the great engine of transformation. The mantle moves in cycles. Heat from the core rises upward, carrying with it molten material. Cooler rock sinks downward, pulled by gravity. Together, these currents form a slow but unending circulation known as convection. Imagine colossal rivers of stone, wider than oceans, deeper than imagination, moving in loops that take millions of years to complete. These currents push and pull the plates of the crust, birthing mountains, tearing open rifts, and fueling volcanoes. They are the hidden hands that mold the continents, turning the face of the planet into a living, changing work of art. Yet despite this immense power, the mantle is not chaotic. Quite the contrary. Recent discoveries reveal a remarkable uniformity, a surprising consistency that gives the Earth its stability. Using seismic imaging, sending waves of energy through the planet and recording their echoes, scientists have mapped the mantle in exquisite detail. What they found was not a landscape of random turbulence, but vast, coherent structures that endure for hundreds of millions of years. Plumes of hot rock rising in steady columns, subducted slabs of crust sinking with grace into the depths. Giant regions of slightly different composition, like subtle birthmarks on the body of the planet. These structures suggest that the mantle is not a restless monster, but a patient giant, moving with deliberation and balance. It does not rush, it does not rage, it simply flows, in cycles older than life itself. For us, there is something profoundly reassuring in this. We live on the surface, where storms rage, earthquakes shake, and oceans surge, but beneath it all lies a vast, steady presence, moving in rhythms so ancient they predate the first heartbeat, the first breath, the first whisper of consciousness. The mantle has always been there, quietly sculpting, quietly enduring. It is, in every sense, the Earth's gentle giant. And perhaps in ways we are only beginning to understand, its cycles echo within us. Human beings evolved in the embrace of these deep rhythms, the rising and falling of continents, the expansion and contraction of oceans, the very climate of the Earth, all of it shaped by the mantle's slow dance. Could it be that our own internal cycles, our sleep patterns, our circadian rhythms, are in some subtle way attuned to this geologic heartbeat? It is a question science cannot answer, but the possibility lingers, like a whisper from the depths, that we are more connected to the mantle than we realize. There is a strange comfort in imagining that when we close our eyes at night, when our minds drift from the chaos of the day, it is the mantle's ancient rhythm that cradles us. Its stability becomes our stability. Its patience becomes our rest. As the mantle flows, so too do we, carried by currents of time far greater than our own. Yet the mantle is not static. It is a realm of change, but change that teaches us patience. Mountains rise not in moments, but in millennia. Oceans open and close not in centuries, but in epochs. In its slow, steady motion, the mantle reminds us of a truth we often forget, that the greatest transformations are the ones that take time. Just as continents drift in inch by inch, so too do we change, growing not in sudden bursts, but in the steady flow of days and years. The mantle is a mirror. It shows us that strength is not in speed, but in endurance, that stability is not the absence of motion, but the presence of balance, and that beneath all the noise of the surface world lies a deeper rhythm, ancient and unbroken, waiting for us to listen. So when we unveil the mantle, we are not just uncovering rock and heat and convection currents. We are uncovering a truth about ourselves, that even in the face of chaos, there is stability, that even beneath storms and quakes, there is calm, and that the Earth's gentle giant, moving silently beneath our feet, carries us all in its patient embrace. The mantle is not only the engine of the planet, it is also the reminder that in slowness there is strength, and in stillness there is life. Imagine, for a moment, that you are falling, not through air or water, but through stone. Down, deeper than the mantle, through thousands of kilometers of heat and pressure, into the heart of the planet itself. The light of the surface vanishes. The solidity of rock transforms into something stranger, and suddenly you are no longer surrounded by stillness, but by a vast ocean of molten metal. This is the Earth's outer core, a realm of liquid iron and nickel, swirling endlessly in patterns more elegant than any storm, more ancient than any river. To human eyes, it is a place of unimaginable extremes. Temperatures soar above 4,000 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt any material we have ever forged. Pressure rises to millions of times what we feel at sea level. And yet, within this crucible, there is no chaos. Instead, there is order, a majestic dance of molten currents moving with deliberate grace. The outer core, though liquid, is not wild. It flows in vast convection cells, driven by heat escaping from the solid inner core and the cooling mantle above. And in this motion lies one of the greatest miracles of our planet, the magnetic field. As the molten iron swirls, it generates electricity. That electricity, in turn, creates magnetism. Together, the churning outer core acts like a colossal dynamo, powering a magnetic shield that wraps around the Earth. This invisible force field extends far into space, deflecting deadly solar winds and cosmic radiation, shielding our atmosphere, protecting our oceans, and safeguarding life itself. Without the outer core's unceasing motion, Earth would be a barren rock, stripped of water and air, just like Mars. Pause to consider that. Every time you stand beneath the night sky, gazing at stars that burn with radiation powerful enough to strip atoms apart, remember, you are safe because deep beneath your feet, a river of molten metal is moving. Every breath of air you take, every drop of water you drink, every living thing around you exists because the outer core has kept the Earth wrapped in a cloak of tranquility for billions of years. It is not merely a layer of the planet. It is our guardian, a silent protector whose work we seldom notice, but whose importance is absolute. And then, within this molten ocean, lies something even more enigmatic. At the very center of the Earth, floating like a jewel in the heart of fire, is the inner core. Unlike the outer core, it is solid, an immense sphere of iron and nickel, glowing white-hot under pressures so immense that atoms are forced into crystalline alignment. Scientists estimate that the inner core is slowly growing as the outer core cools and solidifies at its boundaries. With every passing millennium, the solid heart of the Earth expands, layer by layer, like the steady growth rings of a tree. For centuries, the inner core was a mystery we could only imagine. Was it chaotic, unstable, fractured by unimaginable stresses? Or was it orderly, calm, enduring? Modern seismic studies give us the answer. The inner core is astonishingly stable. Waves from distant earthquakes, rippling through the planet, reveal a structure that is not broken, but whole. Not restless, but serene. It is, in many ways, the very definition of constancy, a heart of iron beating at the center of the world. And just like the outer core, the inner core has secrets still unfolding. Some evidence suggests that it may rotate slightly faster than the rest of the planet, completing an extra turn every few hundred years. This slow, graceful spin may help stabilize the magnetic field generated by the outer core, reinforcing the shield that keeps us safe. Imagine that, a heart not only beating steadily, but also turning slowly, like the pendulum of a cosmic clock. There is poetry in this science. The inner and outer cores, together, form a partnership of protection. One moves, one endures. One flows, one stands firm.
And between them, they create a balance that sustains all life on the surface. If the mantle is the Earth's gentle giant, the cores are its guardians, watching in silence, ensuring that above we can live, breathe, and dream. In myths and legends, the center of the Earth was often imagined as a place of terror, a fiery pit, a kingdom of the dead, a realm of punishment. But in truth, the reality is far more beautiful. The core is not a place of despair, but of tranquility. It is a reminder that beneath even the most violent appearances, beneath volcanoes erupting, earthquakes shaking, storms raging, lies a foundation of order, a heart of peace. Perhaps it is no coincidence that we humans speak of the heart as the seat of calm, the center of being. The earth itself has a heart, and it too is steady, enduring, quietly growing. To imagine it is to be reminded that beneath our own turmoil, beneath the chaos of daily life, there lies within us a core of stability, a place of resilience that holds us steady through every storm. So the next time you feel small, overwhelmed by the vastness of existence, remember this. At the center of the planet, thousands of kilometers beneath your feet, there is a glowing heart of iron, stable and serene. Around it, a great ocean of molten metal moves in rhythms older than the stars above. Together, they are your guardians, your protectors, your silent companions through the long journey of life. They are the Earth's enigmatic cores, not places of chaos, but guardians of tranquility.
The story of Earth's depths does not end in the present. Just as the hum of the planet connects us to the past, the future of Earth's embrace invites us forward into a realm of discovery still unfolding. For while the crust may be familiar, mapped by satellites and explored by human hands, the vast interior remains largely a mystery. What we know today is but a glimpse, a shadowy outline drawn from vibrations and calculations. Yet with every new breakthrough, the whispers from below grow clearer, and the promise of understanding deepens. In the laboratories of modern science, the Earth's hidden processes are being recreated in miniature. Imagine a diamond anvil cell, two flawless diamonds pressing together with unimaginable force, squeezing a tiny fragment of rock to the same pressures found at the core. Lasers heat it to thousands of degrees, mimicking the infernal conditions deep inside the planet. Through these experiments, scientists watch matter transform, atoms rearranging themselves into structures that could only exist under such crushing intensity. Each discovery is a key, unlocking another door to the secrets below. At the same time, seismic tomography, an imaging technique that uses earthquake waves like an X-ray, has begun to reveal the deep Earth in 3 dimensions. Where once we saw only a vague layering, we now glimpse vast plumes rising from the core mantle boundary, immense rivers of heat feeding volcanic islands. We see slabs of ancient seafloor swallowed by subduction, descending slowly into the mantle's depths like messages carried to the underworld. And with each new image, the mantle and core come alive before us, not as abstractions but as landscapes, dynamic, breathing, almost alive. What do these revelations mean for us beyond curiosity? They remind us that we are not separate from the Earth, but bound to it in ways intimate and profound. The magnetic shield generated by the outer core, the slow drift of continents guided by the mantle, the very air we breathe, all are products of forces hidden beneath our feet. To understand them is to understand ourselves, to recognize that our lives are woven into the deep rhythms of the planet. And as science advances, we may yet learn to harness this knowledge for our own well-being. Imagine designing sleep environments that echo the Earth's hum, aligning our bodies with the planet's natural rhythms to foster deeper rest. Imagine creating technologies that shield us from stress as effectively as the magnetic field shields us from cosmic radiation. By listening to the deep Earth, we may discover not only how to survive, but how to thrive. The future of Earth's embrace is also the future of our connection to time. For the processes below are not fleeting. They move on scales of millions of years, cycles so slow they dwarf human history. To glimpse them is to be reminded of humility, of patience, of endurance. If the mantle teaches us the strength of slowness, and the cores teach us the serenity of stability, then together they remind us that we are brief guests in a story far larger than ourselves. Yet this vastness is not alienating. It is comforting. To know that beneath us lies a structure so stable, so enduring, is to realize that we are never alone. The ground may quake, storms may rage, civilizations may rise and fall, but the Earth's inner processes continue undisturbed, carrying us forward with steady hands. We are, in every sense, embraced by the planet itself. There is also wonder in what lies ahead. What new mysteries will seismic imaging uncover? What secrets will diamond anvil experiments reveal? Could we one day send instruments deep into the mantle, perhaps through drilling projects that reach further than ever before? And if so, what will we find? Perhaps structures unlike anything we can imagine, or processes that rewrite our understanding of physics itself. The future of Earth's embrace is a frontier, not just of geology, but of imagination. And perhaps most importantly, it is a reminder of unity. For no matter where we live, on mountains or plains, islands or deserts, we all share the same foundation. The hum of the Earth belongs to all of us. The mantle carries every continent. The cores protect every living thing with their magnetic shield. In the deepest sense, we are one species, one people, one story, held together by the same hidden rhythms. To listen to the Earth's depths is to hear not only the voice of the planet, but the voice of belonging. So as we look toward the future, let us remember this. Beneath our feet lies not emptiness, but abundance. Not chaos, but harmony. Not silence, but song. The Earth's embrace is eternal, vast, and patient, waiting for us to understand, to align, to rest. In the end, the mysteries of the deep Earth are not only about geology, they are about us, our sleep, our peace, our connection to the cosmos. To unravel what lies beneath is to unravel who we are, and to discover that at the center of it all lies tranquility, endurance, and life itself. And so the journey continues, not downward, but inward, into science, into imagination, into the embrace of a planet that has been whispering to us since the beginning of time. The Earth's deepest mysteries are not just beneath us, they are within us. And as long as we dare to listen, we will never stop learning what it means to be at home in this humming, living world.
The Earth is not still. Beneath our feet it breathes, not in the way lungs rise and fall with air, but in the slow, steady rhythm of tectonic plates shifting across the surface of the planet. This grand movement is the continuation of a story that began billions of years ago, when the crust first solidified over a restless mantle. Though we may think of the ground as unchanging, solid, immovable, it is in fact a mosaic of plates, drifting silently across a fiery ocean of rock, shaping mountains, opening seas, and guiding the fate of continents. This slow dance, imperceptible to the human eye, is the heartbeat of geology.
Each plate carries with it not only land, but entire histories of ecosystems, climates, and civilizations. Over millennia, continents have drifted together and broken apart, like great rafts wandering across the globe. The Himalayas, towering above the world, exist because the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate. The Pacific Ocean's fiery ring of fire burns because plates meet, clash, and slide past each other at its edges. To call this movement breathing is not mere poetry, it is reality. Just as breath sustains life, tectonic motion sustains the vitality of the Earth. Without it, our planet would be geologically dead, like Mars or the Moon, barren worlds without mountain ranges, volcanic eruptions, or dynamic oceans. The plates recycle the crust, returning ancient seabeds into the mantle and raising new land in their place. This cycle, relentless and eternal, maintains the balance of the Earth's systems. Scientists have measured these motions with satellites so precise they can detect a continent moving just centimeters each year. To us, that seems insignificant, yet give it millions of years and whole worlds are transformed. Where there was once ocean, there may be desert. Where there were plains, there may one day be mountains. The planet's surface is an ever-changing canvas, not painted with human hands, but with the invisible brush of tectonics. What is most astonishing is the patience of this process. It moves too slowly for a single lifetime, yet it is steady, dependable. In the same way the Earth's inner hum soothes us, the breath of tectonic plates reminds us that change can be gentle, drawn out, yet profound. Our ancestors once thought mountains eternal, but we now know they are still growing or eroding, shaped by forces below. In this knowledge, there is both humility and comfort. Nothing is fixed, yet nothing is rushed. Beneath this vast system lies a delicate balance of heat and pressure. The mantle's convection currents, slow rivers of molten rock rising and falling, are the hidden lungs of the Earth. These currents push against the plates, guiding them like pieces on a cosmic chessboard. Without this deep, unseen engine, the crust would not move, the land would not rise, and the cycle of renewal would end. The breath of tectonic plates also carries echoes of deep time. Fossils of the same ancient species, found today on opposite sides of the ocean, tell us of supercontinents that once existed: Pangaea, Gondwana, Rodinia. They remind us that the Earth has inhaled and exhaled continents over billions of years, pulling them together, scattering them apart, only to reunite them once again. This cycle continues even now, unseen, unhurried, inevitable. For human beings, tectonics is often experienced not as a gentle breath, but as sudden upheaval, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis. Yet these events are merely exhalations of a larger rhythm, rare moments when the Earth's slow breath quickens. Though destructive, they are also reminders of the vitality of our planet. They tell us we live on a world that is alive, dynamic, and restless in its foundations. There is a profound beauty in knowing that the very ground beneath us is not static, but alive with movement. It connects us to a cosmic timescale far beyond our own. While our lives may span decades, tectonic cycles span eons. In a sense, they give us a glimpse of eternity, a reminder that the Earth endures and will continue to breathe long after we are gone. Scientists speculate about the future of tectonic motion. Millions of years from now, the continents will likely collide again, forming a new supercontinent. Oceans will close, mountains will rise, climates will shift. Humanity may or may not still walk the Earth, but the planet will continue to breathe, unbothered by the comings and goings of species. This inevitability is not frightening, but reassuring. The Earth has a plan, and it unfolds slowly with patience that dwarfs our own. The breath of tectonic plates also whispers a lesson to us. Just as the planet moves slowly yet reshapes itself completely, so too can we. Change in our lives need not be sudden or violent. It can be gradual, steady, invisible in the moment, yet transformative across time. The Earth teaches us endurance, resilience, and the quiet strength of patience. When you stand on solid ground, remember this: beneath you, Continents are moving. Mountains are rising. Oceans are drifting. You may not feel it, but the world is alive with motion, its breath steady and eternal. To know this is to feel connected, not only to the earth beneath your feet, but to the vast, slow heartbeat of the cosmos itself. And so, the breath of tectonic plates is not merely a geological fact. It is a story of life, of time, of transformation. A story written across the face of the earth in ridges, trenches, and peaks.
Volcanoes are the Earth's most dramatic storytellers. They rise like guardians of the underworld, their peaks piercing the sky while their roots stretch deep into the planet's hidden heart. For millennia, humans have watched their fiery displays with awe and fear, seeing in them the anger of gods, the wrath of spirits, or the warnings of the Earth itself. Yet behind the flames and ash lies not fury, but a profound message, one written in molten rock, delivered by pressure and whispered from the deep mantle. Volcanoes are the messengers of the planet, reminding us of what lies beneath. Imagine standing near a volcano before an eruption. The ground trembles softly, the air smells of sulfur, and the sky darkens with strange clouds. To ancient peoples, these signs were omens, portents of catastrophe. To modern scientists, they are signals, evidence that magma, molten rock from the mantle, is rising through fractures in the crust. This magma carries with it a story from miles below, a message from places no human has ever seen. When it finally bursts forth, it is as if the earth itself is speaking in fire. Volcanoes exist because the planet is alive. The mantle is not still. It convects, flows, circulates. Heat from the core drives this endless motion, pushing molten rock upward wherever the crust is weak. At the edges of tectonic plates, magma escapes in fiery fountains, building new land where once there was ocean. In the middle of plates, hot spots rise like cosmic geysers, creating island chains such as Hawaii. Every volcano is a letter from the deep earth, each eruption a word in a language written in lava. The destructive power of volcanoes is undeniable. Entire cities have been buried under their ash, from Pompeii beneath Mount Vesuvius to more recent tragedies in Indonesia, the Philippines, and beyond. Yet destruction is only part of their message. Volcanoes are also creators. They build islands, enrich soil, and release gases that shape our atmosphere. Without them, Earth would be a barren rock. It is through their fiery exhalations that new life becomes possible. In this way, they are both destroyers and givers, balancing creation and collapse. Scientists today study volcanoes with tools as sophisticated as satellites and as simple as listening. Seismographs detect the tremors of magma pushing upward. GPS stations measure the swelling of land as pressure builds, and satellites track plumes of ash that reach the stratosphere. Each piece of data is another fragment of the volcano's message, decoded by human ingenuity. Yet even with all our technology, volcanoes remain unpredictable. Their language is ancient, complex, and at times beyond translation. There is, however, one message that is always clear. The Earth is restless, and it will not be silenced. Volcanic eruptions remind us that the ground beneath our feet is not permanent. It is a living surface, constantly reshaped by forces we cannot control. To witness a volcano is to feel the pulse of the planet, a heartbeat of fire and stone. But volcanoes also connect us to deep time. Some of the oldest rocks on Earth are volcanic, remnants of eruptions billions of years ago, when the planet was young and chaotic. Those early volcanoes released water vapor and gases that would later form the oceans and atmosphere. Without them, life as we know it could never have begun. Every breath we take is, in a sense, a gift from ancient volcanoes. Their message is not only of danger, but of origin, of how the Earth prepared itself to host life. Volcanoes also shape human culture. From the legends of Pele and Hawaii to the Roman tales of Vulcan, the god of fire, myths have long tried to interpret their power. These stories may not be scientific, but they hold truths of their own: respect for the earth, recognition of its strength, and awe at its mysteries. Even today, standing before an erupting volcano, one cannot help but feel small, humbled, aware of forces far beyond human command. Modern science has given us new ways to listen to these fiery messengers. High-speed cameras capture the dance of lava fountains. Drones fly into ash plumes to collect samples. Computer models simulate the underground chambers where magma gathers. Each method brings us closer to understanding. But the essence remains. Volcanoes speak the language of the deep earth, and we are still learning to listen. Their influence reaches beyond Earth as well. On distant worlds, volcanoes, both past and present, tell us stories about their inner lives. Mars once had colossal volcanoes, like Olympus Mons, the largest in the solar system. Jupiter's moon Io is still volcanically active, its surface constantly remade by eruptions. By studying volcanoes here, we unlock clues about planets across the cosmos. The message of fire is not confined to Earth, it is universal. Yet perhaps the most profound message volcanoes deliver is about balance. They remind us that creation and destruction are not opposites, but partners. Ash clouds that darken skies also fertilize fields. Lava that burns forests also builds fertile soil. Eruptions that devastate can, over centuries, prepare the ground for renewal. The Earth does not fear change, it embraces it. Through volcanoes, it teaches us the same lesson. So when you see images of a glowing mountain, rivers of molten rock carving their way across the land, do not see only destruction. See communication. See the planet speaking, telling us of its inner workings, reminding us of its vitality. Volcanoes are not random chaos. They are messengers of order, of cycles, of balance. They speak of death, but also of life. To listen to a volcano is to hear the earth itself. It is to recognize that we live not on a silent, lifeless rock, but on a world that breathes, moves, and speaks. And though the language may be dangerous, it is also beautiful. Fiery words written in light, ash, and stone. Volcanoes are the planet's fiery messengers, and their message is eternal. We are part of a living earth, born of fire, sustained by its rhythms, and forever bound to its song.
The earth is never truly silent. Beneath the stillness of forests, beneath the calm of oceans, beneath the hum of human cities, there are sudden moments when the planet speaks in jolts and tremors. These are earthquakes, the echoes of the deep, brief yet powerful messages from the restless ground beneath our feet. Unlike the slow breath of tectonic plates or the fiery proclamations of volcanoes, earthquakes are the sharp exclamation marks in the Earth's language, a sudden reminder of the forces always at work. To experience an earthquake is to feel the ground itself rebel, walls shudder, trees sway, and the air fills with an uncanny roar, a sound both from everywhere and nowhere. For those who have felt it, the memory is unforgettable. Yet, while earthquakes often arrive as catastrophe, they are also messages, windows into the hidden mechanics of the planet. Through them, we glimpse the tension of tectonic plates, the fractures in the crust, and the restless energy of the mantle below. At their core, earthquakes are simple. Stress builds along fault lines as plates press, slide, or collide. Eventually, the strain becomes too great and the rocks snap. Energy radiates outward in seismic waves rippling through the earth. These waves are the echoes we feel, carrying the story of deep stress to the surface. Some quakes last mere seconds, others stretch into long, rolling minutes, but all of them speak of forces far older and stronger than humanity. Scientists measure these echoes with seismographs, delicate instruments that can detect even the faintest tremor. Each earthquake produces a unique signature, a waveform that reveals its depth, strength, and distance. By studying thousands of such signals, researchers have mapped the hidden architecture of the Earth.
Seismic waves bend and slow as they pass through different layers, revealing where the crust thickens, where the mantle flows, and where the core begins. In this way, earthquakes are not only natural disasters, but also tools of discovery. Without them, our picture of the deep earth would be far dimmer. There is irony in this dual role. The same quakes that devastate cities also gift us knowledge of the unseen. When Japan shook in 2011, or when California quivered along the San Andreas Fault, the destruction was immense, but so too was the data. These events revealed more about plate boundaries, seismic cycles, and even the inner core's mysterious behavior. Pain and wisdom arrived together, as they so often do in the story of the Earth. Yet earthquakes are not only about science. They are about human perception of fragility. To feel the ground move beneath you is to realize that the foundation we trust most is not absolute. Buildings, bridges, and lives can be altered in moments by forces hidden in stone. In this way, earthquakes remind us of humility. They strip away the illusion of control, showing us that we are guests upon a shifting surface. For ancient cultures, these tremors were more than natural events. They were messages from gods or spirits. In Greek mythology, Poseidon was the earth shaker, striking the ground with his trident. In Japanese Shinto beliefs, a giant catfish named Namuzu caused quakes whenever it thrashed its tail. These stories, though symbolic, reflect a timeless truth. Earthquakes demand explanation, for their suddenness shakes not only the ground but also the soul. Modern science, though it has replaced myth with mechanics, still respects the mystery. Prediction remains one of geology's greatest challenges. While scientists can map fault lines, measure strain, and estimate probabilities, no one can yet say with certainty when the next great quake will strike. The echoes of the deep are precise in physics, but elusive in timing. This uncertainty keeps us vigilant, reminding us that the Earth has its own schedule. But earthquakes also reveal the interconnectedness of the planet. A tremor in one place can ripple across continents, felt thousands of miles away. Even tiny quakes, undetected by humans, contribute to the Earth's low-frequency hum, a constant vibration circling the globe. Some researchers suggest this planetary hum may subtly affect us, syncing with natural rhythms of sleep and consciousness. If true, then earthquakes are not only sudden shocks, but part of a larger symphony of vibration that ties us to the deep Earth. The most powerful earthquakes reshape landscapes entirely. Rivers change course, coastlines rise or sink, entire cities are remade in moments. These events, though devastating, are also part of the Earth's renewal. Just as volcanoes create fertile land, earthquakes relieve strain that would otherwise build endlessly. The crust must fracture to stay whole. Destruction, again, is inseparable from creation. Looking forward, the study of earthquakes continues to advance. With dense seismic networks, machine learning, and satellite-based radar, we are beginning to detect patterns once invisible. Scientists are exploring the idea of foreshocks, small tremors that may precede larger quakes as potential warnings. Others study silent earthquakes, slow slips along faults that move without shaking, releasing energy quietly over weeks. These discoveries expand our understanding of how the Earth whispers before it shouts. Perhaps the greatest lesson earthquakes teach is resilience. Cities rebuild, cultures adapt, and lives continue even after the ground has rebelled. In Japan, Chile, and California, people live daily with the knowledge of quakes, yet they endure, innovate, and thrive. The Earth shakes, but humanity responds with courage. This balance between the planet's power and human resilience is itself an echo, a dialogue across time. So the next time you hear of an earthquake, think of it not only as destruction, but as a message. Think of seismic waves rippling outward, carrying secrets of the mantle and the core. Think of ancient myths that tried to explain the trembling ground. Think of the fragile, fleeting lives that adapt and rebuild in its wake. Earthquakes are echoes of the deep, brief, powerful, and profound. They remind us that the Earth is not silent.
It speaks in tremors, in rumbles, in vibrations. And if we listen closely, we can hear not only warnings of danger, but also whispers of connection, resilience, and the living rhythm of the planet itself.
Beneath the rolling waves of Earth's oceans lies another world, dark, immense, and largely unseen. While mountains, forests, and deserts cover the land above, the ocean floor stretches across 2/3 of our planet, a hidden frontier where the secrets of Earth's inner life are written in stone. It is the gateway to the abyss, a threshold between the familiar surface and the mysterious depths below. To descend there is not only to explore the sea, but also to approach the very lungs and heart of the Earth itself. At first glance, the ocean floor might seem silent and still, but far from it. It is alive with motion, sculpted by tectonic forces, volcanic eruptions, and earthquakes that reverberate through the water. The mid-ocean ridges, vast underwater mountain chains, are the planet's most extensive geological features, longer than any range on land. Here, new crust is born as magma rises from the mantle, cooling into rock that slowly drifts outward, pushing continents with it. This process, called seafloor spreading, is nothing less than the breath of Earth made visible, an endless renewal happening out of sight. The abyssal plains, stretching between these ridges and trenches, are among the flattest and most expansive surfaces in the world. Yet even here the Earth leaves its fingerprints. Buried beneath layers of sediment are the remnants of ancient ocean floors, swallowed by subduction zones at the edges of plates. In these zones, the crust bends downward into the mantle, carrying with it water, minerals, and echoes of life. This recycling is essential for the planet's balance, a hidden dialogue between the ocean and the deep Earth. Perhaps most dramatic of all are the trenches, great scars in the sea floor where one plate plunges beneath another. The Mariana Trench, nearly 7 miles deep, is the deepest known place on Earth. To stand at its bottom would be to bear the weight of an ocean above, a crushing silence broken only by the groans of the shifting crust. These trenches are not only geographical marvels, but also spiritual ones, reminders of how little we know about the forces shaping our world. Volcanoes, too, are abundant beneath the sea. In fact, most of Earth's volcanic activity occurs underwater, unseen by human eyes. At hydrothermal vents, superheated water bursts from cracks in the sea floor, rich with minerals carried from the mantle. Around these vents thrive ecosystems unlike any other, creatures that live not on sunlight, but on chemical energy, fed by bacteria that consume sulfur and methane. These alien-like life forms reveal the deep Earth's influence on biology, proving that even in the darkest, most hostile environments, life finds a way. Exploring the ocean floor is one of humanity's greatest challenges. The crushing pressures and eternal darkness make it more difficult to reach than space. Yet with submarines, remotely operated vehicles, and sonar mapping, we have begun to peel back the veil. Each expedition reveals landscapes more extraordinary than imagined. Black smokers belching minerals, lava flows stretching across miles, and ridges that glow faintly in the heat of creation. These discoveries remind us that the ocean floor is not just a boundary, but a bridge between surface and core. Seismologists, too, listen to the ocean floor. Earthquakes that occur beneath the sea send ripples across the water, sometimes triggering tsunamis that race toward shore. These waves are terrifying reminders of the ocean's power, yet they also carry vital information about the Earth's inner workings. By placing seismic instruments on the seafloor, scientists gain clearer pictures of the mantle's flow, the structure of tectonic plates, and the dynamic engine beneath. The ocean floor, though remote,
is one of our best windows into the deep earth. What is perhaps most humbling is the sense of scale. We often think of mountains and valleys on land as the greatest features of our planet, yet beneath the sea lie canyons deeper, mountains taller, and plains broader than anything we see above. Mauna Kea, measured from its base on the sea floor to its peak, is taller than Mount Everest. The mid-Atlantic ridge is longer than any highway, stretching across the globe like a scar that never heals. The ocean floor is not absence, it is abundance, hidden beneath a shifting veil of water. But the ocean floor is also a reminder of time. Every inch of it records the history of Earth's crust, like pages in a book written in basalt. By studying magnetic stripes on the sea floor, scientists have traced the movement of continents, proving the theory of plate tectonics. These patterns reveal reversals of Earth's magnetic field, a deep cycle tied to the liquid core. In this way, the ocean floor is not just geography, it is geology's archive, storing secrets of the planet's breath and pulse. For humanity, the ocean floor is both frontier and teacher. It shows us that the surface we know is only the beginning, that beneath the waves lies a world vast enough to dwarf our imagination. It teaches us resilience as creatures thrive in crushing darkness. It teaches us patience as rocks shift and spread at rates too slow for human eyes. And it teaches us connection, reminding us that oceans are not separate from Earth's deep interior, but bound to it in endless dialogue. Perhaps the greatest message of the ocean floor is this: the unknown is not empty. It is alive, dynamic, and essential. Just as the abyss holds creatures we never dreamed could exist, so too does the Earth's interior hold processes beyond our comprehension. By exploring the seafloor, we take one step closer to listening to the Earth's deepest voice, to understanding the forces that cradle life itself. The ocean floor is more than a gateway. It is an invitation to descend, to discover, to remember that our planet is layered with wonders still untold. Beneath the waves, beneath the silence, the abyss waits, not to frighten, but to teach. And when we listen carefully, we realize that the ocean floor speaks not of emptiness, but of connection. It tells us that the surface world and the deep earth are one, bound together by cycles of creation, destruction, and renewal. The gateway to the abyss is, in truth, the gateway to understanding ourselves.
The Earth hides its greatest landscapes not in the open air, but in silence and shadow. Beneath the crust, mountains taller than Everest, rivers of molten rock, and structures older than continents reside in perpetual darkness. No human eye has ever seen them directly, and yet, astonishingly, we have drawn maps of this unseen world. Not with ink and paper, not with satellites or cameras, but with the vibrations of the Earth itself. These are seismic maps, the hidden cartography of our planet, etched in waves of sound and motion. Every earthquake is an artist of revelation. When the crust fractures and seismic waves radiate outward, they travel through layers of rock, bending and changing as they pass. To scientists, these changes are clues, fingerprints left by the structures they traverse. By gathering thousands of these vibrations from around the globe, researchers piece together images of the Earth's interior, much like doctors use X-rays to see bones within the body. The planet speaks in tremors, and seismology is the language of translation. The first seismic maps were crude, little more than guesses drawn from scattered data. But as networks of seismographs expanded, the resolution sharpened. What once seemed a uniform mantle revealed itself to be dynamic, textured, full of currents and plumes. What once seemed like a solid inner core now showed signs of subtle rotation, whispering of mysteries still unfolding. Each refinement was not only a scientific achievement, but also an act of imagination. to see what cannot be seen, to draw where no light has ever touched. Today, seismic tomography allows us to view the Earth in 3 dimensions. Imagine a medical CT scan, but instead of bones and organs, it shows continents, mantle plumes, and subducting slabs. Bright colors mark hotter or cooler regions, denser or lighter materials. These maps reveal where ancient oceans sank into the mantle, where magma wells upward to feed volcanoes, and where the deep Earth pulses with energy. They are not static atlases, but living images of a planet in motion. What these maps reveal is humbling. Beneath Africa, a vast plume of hot rock rises from the core mantle boundary, perhaps responsible for splitting the continent apart. Beneath the Pacific, enormous slabs of crust, once seafloor, descend into darkness, vanishing into the mantle like memories swallowed by time. And at the very heart of the Earth, seismic waves show subtle variations, suggesting that the inner core is not uniform, but patchworked, a growing crystal sphere with secrets locked inside. This hidden cartography does more than satisfy curiosity. It informs us of hazards, predicting where earthquakes may strike, where volcanoes may awaken, where tsunamis may rise. By mapping the unseen, scientists give us tools to protect ourselves from the Earth's sudden messages. The maps are, in a sense, guides, not only to geology, but to survival. But they also carry a philosophical weight. To chart the invisible is to admit that reality is deeper than appearances. The surface world we know, the mountains we climb, the valleys we farm, the seas we sail, is only the skin of a far greater organism. Beneath, there are structures so immense and processes so patient that human lifetimes scarcely register. Seismic maps remind us that the Earth is not merely ground beneath us, it is a cosmos within itself, a universe of stone and fire. The artistry of these maps lies in their paradox. They are both precise and mysterious. A plume may be imaged, yet its exact composition remains unknown. A slab may be traced, yet its ultimate fate is uncertain. Each map is a beginning, not an end, a door opening to further questions. The deeper we look, the more we realize how much lies beyond reach. In a way, seismic cartography is humanity's dialogue with the Earth. We knock, and it responds with echoes. We listen, and we sketch what we hear. It is a collaboration across scales. Tiny seismographs capturing the tremors of vast continents, human minds interpreting patterns that span millions of years. The maps we draw are not only of rock, but of relationship between humanity and the planet that sustains us. Even more astonishing, seismic mapping has revealed the Earth's low-frequency hum, a constant vibration that resonates even when no earthquakes shake the ground. Generated by waves, winds, and the ceaseless motion of the planet, this hum is another form of cartography, tracing the boundaries of the Earth's resonance. Some scientists speculate that this global hum might subtly influence life, syncing with biological rhythms just as the tides sync with the moon. If true, then seismic maps are not only geological, they're biological, connecting our bodies to the pulse of the Earth. The future of seismic cartography promises even greater revelations. With supercomputers, researchers now simulate seismic wave propagation through complex 3D models, refining maps to unprecedented clarity. Ocean-bottom seismographs expand coverage to the 2/3 of Earth hidden beneath water. Artificial intelligence identifies patterns invisible to the human eye, turning chaos into structure. Each advance brings us closer to a complete atlas of the unseen. And yet, even with perfect maps, mystery will remain. For what lies within the core, its exact composition, its dynamics, its origin, remains beyond reach. Seismic maps show shadows of these truths, but the heart of the Earth still guards its secrets. Perhaps this is as it should be, for in mystery there is wonder, and in wonder there is reverence. Seismic maps are more than tools of science. They're acts of imagination, windows into realms we will never walk. They remind us that the Earth is not passive but alive, not silent but speaking in vibrations, not static but forever changing.
They are, in a sense, the Earth's autobiography, written in waves, translated into colors and lines, telling us of its past, its present, and its restless future. To hold such a map is to glimpse not only geology, but eternity. It is to see the breadth of plates, the whispers of quakes, the plumes of fire rising in the dark. It is to realize that beneath our feet lies not emptiness, but architecture, a cathedral of stone, unseen, yet enduring. And perhaps most profoundly, seismic maps remind us that we are cartographers of the invisible. We chart what cannot be seen, we imagine what cannot be touched, we listen to what cannot be heard without instruments. In doing so, we extend the human story beyond the surface, deep into the hidden heart of the world. The Earth may never reveal all its secrets, but through seismic maps, it offers us glimpses. And in those glimpses, we find not only knowledge, but humility. The knowledge that we stand on a planet vast beyond comprehension, and the humility to listen when it speaks in echoes.
Time is perhaps the most elusive force in the universe. We feel it pass, we measure it in days and years, yet, on the scale of the Earth, our lifetimes are but brief sparks in an endless night. And yet, within the Earth itself, time is written, not in hours or centuries, but in layers of stone, in the slow drift of continents, in the silent growth of mountains, and the quiet erosion of valleys. The Earth is its own clock, and its geology is the keeper of time. Every rock carries a story. Sedimentary layers, stacked like the pages of an ancient book, record oceans rising and falling, climates shifting, species thriving and vanishing. Volcanic deposits preserve moments of fiery eruption, frozen in ash and basalt. Crystals deep within the mantle contain isotopic signatures that whisper of events billions of years past, when the Earth itself was still young. To geologists, these are not mere stones. They are timepieces, ticking at rhythms far slower than human imagination usually allows. The very crust beneath our feet is a palimpsest of ages. In the oldest regions of continents, cratons, vast, stable blocks of rock, stand as monuments to deep time. Some are more than 3.5 billion years old, older than most of the life that now flourishes above them. These cratons are like the grandfather clocks of Earth, silent yet enduring, measuring eons instead of hours. To walk upon them is to walk upon the memory of the planet itself. Plate tectonics, too, is a chronometer. The drift of continents across the globe is not random, but cyclical, part of a supercontinent cycle that spans hundreds of millions of years. Pangaea was not the first supercontinent, nor will it be the last. Before it came Rodinia, Columbia, and Nuna. After it may come Amasya, formed when Asia and the Americas converge. This slow dance, recorded in the scars of rifts and collisions, is one of Earth's longest clocks, keeping time in the rise and fall of continents. Volcanoes also mark the hours of geological time. The Hawaiian Islands, for instance, form a chain that records the movement of the Pacific Plate over a stationary hotspot. Each island is a timestamp, its age increasing with distance from the still erupting Kilauea. In this way, the islands form not just a geographic chain, but a chronological one, a calendar of molten rock stretching across the ocean. Fossils, too, are clocks, biological timekeepers embedded in stone. Trilobites, ammonites, dinosaurs, and mammoths, each marks a chapter in life's long story. Their remains allow scientists to date rocks, to reconstruct ancient environments, and to measure the tempo of evolution. The fossil record is not merely evidence of life, but of time's passage, a reminder that even the mightiest creatures are but temporary actors in the grand play of Earth. Isotopes provide the most precise of Earth's timekeepers. By measuring the decay of radioactive elements within minerals, geologists can determine the ages of rocks with astonishing accuracy. Zircon crystals, for instance, can preserve ages of more than 4 billion years, making them the oldest terrestrial materials known. These tiny crystals are like microscopic hourglasses. Each grain of sand, a record of the planet's earliest moments. Even earthquakes and mountain ranges measure time in their own way. The Himalayas, still rising as India presses into Asia, tell us that continents move not in abstract theory, but in measurable increments, millimeters each year. Each tremor, each uplift, is a tick of the Earth's tectonic clock. Over millions of years, these ticks carve out ranges, alter climates, and shape the fates of species. The oceans, too, keep time. Seafloor spreading records the birth of crust, while subduction recycles it into the mantle. Magnetic stripes on the ocean floor document reversals of Earth's magnetic field, creating a barcode of planetary history. Each stripe is a frozen record of the core's restless dynamo, a link between the deep Earth and the surface world. What is remarkable is how these geological clocks, though silent and slow, influence our own rhythms. The length of a day, once only a few hours in Earth's youth, has been stretched by the gravitational pull of the Moon. The tilt of Earth's axis and the shape of its orbit drive ice ages and warm periods, setting the stage for human history. Even our sense of time, our calendars, our civilizations, have their roots in these deep, cosmic cycles. To study these timekeepers is to expand our perspective. Where we see decades, the Earth measures millions of years. Where we see change is sudden, the Earth records it as gradual. Yet, paradoxically, the Earth also teaches that time can move with shocking swiftness. Mass extinctions, supereruptions, asteroid impacts, moments when the clock's hand leaps forward with devastating speed. The geological clocks are steady, but they are not always gentle. In these timekeepers of stone lies a profound lesson: patience. The Earth reminds us that creation and destruction are inseparable, that growth and decay are partners in the dance of time. Mountains rise only to be worn down. Seas advance only to retreat. The clock ticks endlessly, not toward an end, but to transformation. And perhaps in listening to these clocks, we find a deeper peace. Our anxieties, our hurried lives, our obsession with minutes and hours fade against the backdrop of geological time. The rocks whisper, "Slow down. The Earth is vast and time is long. Your moment is precious, but it is also fleeting." In this realization, there is humility and a kind of comfort. The timekeepers of stone do not count days, nor years, nor centuries. They count in eons, in cycles, in the heartbeat of a planet that has endured for billions of years and will endure billions more. And as we read these clocks, we are reminded that though our lives are brief, they are woven into the same tapestry of time that binds mountains, oceans, and stars. To hold a stone, to trace a fossil, to study a crystal is to touch time itself. It is to place our momentary existence within the grand continuum of Earth. And in doing so, we become not only keepers of time, but participants in it, living chapters in the story of a planet still being written.
Long before seismographs traced the trembling of the ground, before satellites mapped the folds of continents, humanity gazed into caves, mountains, and volcanoes and wondered, what lies beneath? The unseen world below our feet has always stirred the imagination, filling it with gods, monsters, and hidden realms. While science now reveals the Earth's structure with precision, the myths remain, echoing ancient attempts to explain the profound mystery of the deep Earth. In Greek mythology, the underworld was ruled by Hades, a realm of shadow and silence where the dead dwelled. The river Styx separated the living from the departed, its waters flowing like veins into the depths of the planet. To the Greeks, earthquakes were the anger of gods below, volcanoes the breath of titans imprisoned in darkness. In these myths, the Earth was alive, not merely rock, but a being of immense and unpredictable power. The Norse imagined Yggdrasil, the world tree, its roots stretching deep into realms hidden beneath the surface.
One route reached hell, the land of the dead, a shadowy echo of life above. Earthquakes were said to come from Loki, bound beneath the ground, writhing in torment as venom dripped upon him. In this vision, the deep earth was not only physical, but moral, a place where cosmic justice was enforced. In Hindu cosmology, the earth rests upon great elephants, who themselves stand upon the back of a cosmic turtle. While symbolic, this myth reflects an intuitive sense that the world must be supported by something vast and unseen. Beneath the surface, there were believed to be multiple underworlds, Patala, each inhabited by serpents, demons, and divine beings. These realms were not only terrifying, but also wondrous, filled with treasures and knowledge hidden from ordinary eyes. The Maya believed that caves were portals to Xibalba, the underworld, ruled by gods of death and disease. Rituals held in deep caverns were not only ceremonies, but journeys to commune with powers beneath. Stalactites and underground rivers were seen as sacred veins of the earth, carrying both life and mystery. To descend into them was to walk at the threshold between worlds. Across cultures, volcanoes became mouths of the earth, openings through which divine wrath or blessing emerged. For Polynesians, the goddess Pele ruled the fiery depths, her eruptions acts of creation and destruction alike. For the Japanese, Mount Fuji was not only a mountain, but a spiritual gateway connecting the mortal world with divine realms within the earth. Fire and ash were not accidents, they were messages. These myths, diverse though they are, share a common thread, the belief that the deep earth is not empty. It is alive, inhabited, purposeful. Its darkness holds meaning as well as danger. In times before scientific knowledge, this belief offered both explanation and comfort. The Earth's tremors and eruptions were frightening, but they were not random. They were the language of gods. Even today, when seismic tomography and isotopic analysis lay bare the processes of the mantle and core, the myths persist. They live in literature, in art, in the metaphors we use. We still speak of the heart of the earth, of its restless spirit, of its whispers. Science explains, but myth continues to inspire, reminding us that knowledge and imagination need not be enemies. What is striking is how often these myths resonate with scientific truths. The idea of hidden realms beneath the earth reflects the reality of distinct layers, crust, mantle, and core. The notion of cycles of destruction and renewal mirrors plate tectonics, volcanic activity, and the recycling of crust. Even the concept of an underworld rich in treasures echoes the mineral wealth hidden deep below. In myth, humanity intuited what science would later confirm. The Earth's interior is dynamic, structured, and profoundly influential. But myths also speak to something beyond science, the human need to find meaning. While seismology may explain why an earthquake happens, myth tells us how to live with it, how to frame it in the story of existence. The scientific Earth is a machine of heat and pressure. The mythical Earth is a companion, a judge, a mystery that shapes human destiny. Perhaps both are necessary. In a sense, myths are humanity's first seismic maps, drawn not with instruments but with imagination. They may not describe the physical layers with accuracy, but they capture the emotional truth, that the earth beneath us is powerful, unpredictable, and worthy of reverence. Where science offers precision, myth offers poetry. Together they give us a fuller picture of our relationship with the planet. The endurance of these stories reminds us that even as we probe the earth with advanced tools, the mystery remains. No matter how detailed our seismic images become, there will always be aspects of the deep earth that escape comprehension. Forces too vast, timescales too long, structures too hidden. Myth fills this space, giving form to what we cannot yet grasp. And perhaps this is why myths about the deep earth still resonate. They remind us that knowledge is not the end of wonder. The earth can be both a scientific object of study and a mythical realm of awe. To descend into a cave, to feel the ground tremble, to watch a volcano erupt, these are still experiences of the sublime, moments when the rational and the mystical meet. In the end, myths and mysteries are not relics of ignorance. They are expressions of humanity's enduring dialogue with the unseen. They tell us that beneath the ground lies not only stone and fire, but also meaning, stories, and symbols. The Earth's depths are not merely geological, they are psychological, spiritual, eternal. And so, as we stand upon the crust, gazing into cracks, caves, and craters, we are heirs to both traditions, the scientists who map the mantle in colors and waves, and the storytellers who imagine gods and monsters within it. Between them lies the truth. The deep earth is both fact and mystery, both known and unknowable, both science and myth. To embrace this duality is to embrace the full wonder of our planet. For the earth beneath us is not only a physical foundation, but also a mirror of our imagination, reflecting our fears, our hopes, and our eternal curiosity about what lies below.
Beneath our feet lies not only stone and fire, but a quiet order. For all the earthquakes, eruptions, and sudden shifts, the deep earth is remarkably stable. Its processes, though immense, follow patterns, cycles of creation and destruction that balance over millions of years. To listen closely is to hear not only chaos, but harmony, a vast symphony of forces working together to sustain the planet we call home. The crust, fragile as it may seem, provides the foundation for life. It shifts and fractures, but over time its movements create mountains, basins, and fertile soils. The mantle, slow and steady, churns with convection, a deep rhythm that drives plate tectonics and renews the surface. The outer core, though liquid and restless, generates a magnetic field that shields us from cosmic radiation. The inner core, solid and enduring, anchors the entire system, a growing crystal heart at the center of the earth. Each layer plays its part. Each contributes to the harmony of the whole. Science has revealed this orchestra with increasing clarity, yet what is most striking is not the detail, but the balance. Temperatures and pressures within the core remain steady across billions of years. Mantle convection, though slow, is constant, guiding the cycle of continents. Even magnetic reversals, dramatic as they sound, are part of a larger rhythm that has endured without fail. The Earth is not fragile chaos. It is resilient order, a system designed for continuity. This harmony sustains us in ways both visible and invisible. The stability of the deep Earth allows for climates stable enough to nurture life. Its recycling of crust ensures a constant renewal of resources. Its magnetic field guards our atmosphere, keeping the conditions for water, air, and breath intact. Every night we sleep under the protection of processes we cannot see. Every day we thrive upon the balance of forces far beyond our control. There is a profound comfort in this realization. Our lives, fleeting as they are, rest upon a foundation that endures. The ground beneath us is not a random accident. It is part of a deep equilibrium that has lasted for billions of years. To know this is to find peace, to sense that beneath our struggles and uncertainties lies a stability older and stronger than anything we face. Yet harmony does not mean silence. The earth speaks in tremors and eruptions, reminding us of its power. These moments can bring destruction, but they also remind us of connection. A volcano that devastates a landscape also creates new land,
An earthquake that reshapes a region also releases the tension that has been building for centuries. Even disaster is part of balance, a necessary adjustment in the symphony of the earth. Looking forward, humanity's ability to live in harmony with the planet depends on how well we understand these rhythms. Technologies like seismic tomography, high-pressure experiments, and satellite observation are not just tools of science, they are ways of listening to the Earth's music. By tuning into its deep processes, we learn how to predict hazards, manage resources, and design sustainable futures. The harmony beneath our feet becomes a guide for harmony in our lives. But perhaps the deepest lesson is not scientific, it is spiritual. To realize that beneath us lies an enduring order is to feel connected to something greater. The same processes that shape continents also shape the conditions for our dreams. The same rhythms that churn the mantle also steady the magnetic field under which we rest. We are not separate from the Earth's harmony, we are participants in it, notes within its grand composition. Even myths, those ancient stories of gods and underworlds, capture this truth. They remind us that the deep earth is not only a place of danger, but also of wisdom, a source of strength and renewal. Whether seen through science or story, the message is the same. What lies beneath is not chaos, but meaning. And so, as we conclude this journey into the Earth's depths, we emerge with a renewed sense of wonder. The crust, the mantle, the outer core, the inner core, all work together in a harmony that sustains life, that shields us, that cradles our rest. What lies beneath is not only mystery, but tranquility. It is the foundation not just of the planet, but of peace itself. In every stone, in every tremor, in every whisper of the ground, the earth tells us the same story, that we are part of a vast, balanced whole. Beneath our feet lies not only rock and metal, but harmony. And in listening to that harmony, we may find not only knowledge, but rest. For in the end, the deepest mystery of the earth is not how it works, but how it sustains. It is the quiet power of balance, the enduring strength of order, the harmony that has carried life for billions of years, and will continue long after we are gone. And perhaps as we close our eyes each night sinking into sleep, it is this harmony we feel, the calm assurance that beneath us, far below the reach of light, the earth hums with stability. A lullaby of stone and fire, ancient and eternal, carrying us gently into dreams.